And I just
hello and welcome, future people on YouTube and wherever you might be. Good day, good morning, good evening to you. We are welcoming you here. This is the After Town Hall breakout room for Project Catalyst, and you're being hosted by the challenge team for DAOs Love Cardano. Today's date is 6/22/2022, and we've got Harsha, myself, we've got Aaron and Dan from the challenge team. I think the only one we're missing is Gustavo. You can contact us about anything related to DAOs on our Telegram channel. We love links or shout outs to your proposals. We're here to support you as proposers in Project Catalyst. So we've got the Telegram. And what else am I missing? Does anyone from the challenge team want to jump in with an update or some admin?
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, Harsha, excuse me. I just wanted to say that I think it'd be appropriate to take a little bit of time just to talk about this idea of synergy proposals during this session, because I think it's one of those things when we get more people engaged here that we should discuss about how to kind of tie these proposals together.
Would you like me to go on that specific topic, Dan, or would you want to take the lead?
We can share discussions around it, I guess. Are we going to wait? I don't know how is this formalized going to go. Should we?
Sure. Well, I just wanted to get any kind of admin out of the way. I'll add you to the presenters and this idea of synergy proposals. And we've got John, Jay, Joe, Aiden. It's John.
Yeah,
I like to say, no.
John.
I'm going to call you this. I'm going to say, this is how I do it now, John. I'm going to say it's John and the 8 is silent.
Yeah,
John,
I like that.
The 8 is silent. I like it.
H is also the 8th letter.
Ooh, nice. See the synergy. The synergy happens. Yes. Okay. So you're among friends here. We can relax. We are recording, so be appropriate in that respect. But we want you to feel included, and we want you to share fluidly. So there are a couple of other breakout rooms going on, so feel free to do the quiet exit, and pop over there and cross-pollinate, and then come back and share what you've learned. All right.
What about the Miro board?
So the Miro board is view only at the moment. We can't figure out how to get it to where we can share.
We just need to pay to have everyone.
We gotta pay. Oh, we got some money.
No.
We got some money. So maybe we can do that. But in the time being, if you have burning questions or things to share or links to share, we can collect them in this shared document on Google, and it looks like we've got a good amount of people here. So that will be a good thing. And I'm going to put down here in the number 1 or the number 2 heading questions.
I put on that Miro board as to present today. I was actually
okay. Yeah. Can you? Yeah. So we'll put you down to present.
Actually, it's a question. I wanted to really put the question forward to the community, to the DAO community, and particularly DAO and the SSI community about a problem that we are facing. And that was what I was trying to. It's not a proposal.
That'd be perfect. We can give you some time. Is 5 minutes? Is that too little time to present? That's generally what we would like to do. So that gives us some time. And then you can also, that's sort of.
I can. Okay. I can try to in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Ellen, I see you've got your hand raised. Would you like to? You're muted. You're muted. Oh, I can unmute you.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. No, just to let you know that I would like also to present a perspective about a DAO proposal.
Okay. All right, let's begin. Tigeni, I'd like to give you, because you did sort of schedule this on the Miro board. Would you like to begin?
Yes, it's not really a very long presentation. That I wanted it to be a discussion about.
Yeah.
I and Dan we're working on a DAO for an organization in Ethiopia, and we got some problems that I sent about 30 invitations to join the FreeOS. And out of that, I got about 3 or 4 of them. It's not really because of the problem of, it's not a technical problem, because those people that I sent were highly educated people, some of them even IT engineers. But the problem was that I know them, these people, they know me very well and they trust me about whatever, but they didn't have the time to do it. They weren't really invested on what we are doing on this now. And in fact, one of them asked me that, why don't you register for me? He said that. And then really, I was thinking about this for a very long time, about self-custody and all those things that we are talking about. But in real world, self-custody and security are not really that much. When we talk about DAO, they are not really that important, especially in the third world countries, for example, in Africa. So I was thinking about this social custody and social onboarding and social recovery, that most of the work being done is on self-custody and yeah, all those things. But there isn't really that much work that being done on social recovery and social onboarding for to onboard almost anyone. People who trust each other can do it. So I wanted to have a discussion about it, that what we are doing to do that, because from my own experiment, only 2 people managed, highly educated people, only 2 of them managed to create a wallet and send it to me. If we do that, if you wait for everyone to be able or to learn how to create a wallet and how to use it or preserve a seed word, then we'll never achieve what we are set out to do. So this is really a very important question that the community needs to address, so that we can start onboarding people, especially in the third world countries where governments really don't care about their citizens. Because if they did, we wouldn't have all this problem, for example, in Africa. The people have organizations. Most of these organizations are quite similar to DAO, quite similar to, these are network organizations. These organizations can be brought up on a blockchain and can be upgraded so that people can participate more effectively and scale themselves up and scale their services. But the tools being built are not really directed to that. And I want really the community to address this question. Yeah, that's really my presentation.
Thank you much. Thank you very much. Let's have a few minutes of discussion here. I'm keeping score. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah. Tigagni, thanks for mentioning that. I think it's a very important issue for the rest of you who may not understand what this is really all about because of the lack of context, is that there's some investigation that we're making on building DAOs in Ethiopia for building DAOs around a kind of an indigenous kind of insurance project there called IDDIR. you all can learn more about that. But I think the question that Tigegni is raising really has to do with how do we get over this hump of people required to engage on a personal level with the technology, especially this idea of, identifying yourself. People are somewhat scared of that. They don't want to say that, or they don't understand what a wallet is or how to get a wallet going. That there is kind of a social component to this where us techies who can do that can offer that assistance to others. And there should be some way of collectivizing that, that knowledge, so that those people who we trust as a group can be kind of engaged or help to join a community. And in our case with our FreeUS community, we require that everyone prove their humanity. We want to have a one person, one vote environment. And that there maybe is a mechanism to do that kind of group onboarding to Tigegni that would require that the person who's going to engage a group help to kind of engage the self-sovereign part of the proof of humanity part of the identity, such that when a group is joined, that we can trust that they're a group. This is a problem, a social problem, I think, more that and we don't have the knowledge that it takes as individuals sometimes to even know what we're doing to join these groups. So I do think there is a problem here, and it's an onboarding solution. It's not just incentivizing people to join by having them engage in the governance. It's about how do we let them know how to do it, and what this is all about. It's a big education issue. That's all I had to say about it.
I think I do want to hear a couple more voices, but the context is very appreciated. We are talking about forming communities and how that's done in different communities, different regions, different values. It really does make a difference. And having something that can be replicated in different cultural communities would be really worthwhile. And what I'm hearing from Tigegni in Africa is that there's a mistrust of government. There's a mistrust of, these things can be a real big issue and a blocker to this type of adoption and this type of solution. Does anyone else have any more to say about that? We can continue this conversation on the Telegram, and we've got this recording, so commenting so I think that it's actually a very good thing. Zoha and Harsha have, and then once you guys do, then we'll move over. Oh, and then Ellen. Go ahead. Ellen's muted. Let's do the hand raising because of the time. So go ahead.
Can I comment on that just quickly?
Very quickly, and then we'll get to Zuha, and we've got a couple more comments. Thank you.
Yes, just this thing about trust. I've been discussing with a community in Los Angeles, engaged in NFTs and all those NFTs. Anyway, so we're discussing about the trust in the system and the possible of hacking. And I can imagine people who doesn't know how to do, because this what he reported it's happening, even well-educated people who have literacy with technology, they have difficulties to go into these, making a wallet and etc. So I was just thinking, I mentioned the NFT stuff because the guys, they think, oh, sometimes people, they allow with the wallets, they allow some, people to take out things from them, and they don't realize they are allowing this. For example, this is what happened in OpenSea and etc. So I think it would be it's like the understanding how to make this environment safe as well, because I'm Brazilian, so I'm thinking about engaged community as well, and people who are, they don't have enough literacy, so they might be engaged because if they understand it's a good thing to do, but they don't have enough knowledge and they don't have patience. Even people well educated or well informed, they don't have patience to, you know, do the whole thing with attention. So it requires a lot of attention, and it needs to be safe for the community as well. So I think we would have to discuss like ethics and technology, for example, and have a huge group of technicians involved in how to make the people in the crypto space understand that we need to provide for everyone a safe space. And these, everybody's going to profit from it if we have more people engaged in community. So if people, it is the same, for example, in Rio de Janeiro, we have like a big crime scene. So if people, like the criminals, they, it's funny to say this, but it's like the criminals don't let other people come to close to their community to rob people and do things. So I don't want to make the comparison. I just want to say that they, even if they are criminals, they protect their space. And I don't want to make this comparison, but it's just to say that even people who does not follow ethics, which I would like everybody to follow, but even people who does not follow ethics, they could understand that's not good for them to make to open the possibility of people who have less literacy to be, you know, to have trouble with these uses.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ellen. I'm going to move on to Harsha for the next comment about Degani's question about this security and self. Yeah, go ahead, Harsha.
So I think what, at least from my perspective, I see it as a UX problem. I think blockchain does not have the right UX to onboard people easily. It scares them, it confuses them. And specifically, if you have never heard of all of this, then there's no way you would want to jump in. So I think UX for blockchains should not just make it easy, conversational, it should also keep giving them education in the process. So while they're creating the wallet, it should also educate them with like very simple structures and modules, and then they can easily get onboarded. That's what I think. Does that make any sense at all?
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
That's called like on the job training, and it's really about technical documentation and UX. And I know that you're also involved with the Social
Design Academy.
And I really would love, I think they're going to be doing something soon. And that's a great point. I'm going to move on to John, the 8 is silent, and see what he has to say. Thank you, Harsha.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for keeping your comments brief, because we are at the bottom of the hour. I'm mindful of the time. I want to get as many people in as possible. So briefly, John, thank you.
Yeah, I'd agree with Harsha as well, but I'd take it further to, I think not all DAOs have the use case to onboard people. Like Dan was mentioning insurance, I think. I'm not sure if I would want to be in a community that's voting on insurance all day. Like I might just want to get my insurance and leave. Like, I think that's a huge part of it. That why are you onboarding people? Just to onboard them to see the process, or what is the use case?
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. No, I think I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, like communities will sort of self-select. Okay, thank you. Frank, you have anything else to add to the convo?
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, I just want to touch on the accessibility touch point here. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Our team is looking into like backup storage and recovery solutions for SSI actually. So custodial SSI solutions in this context may help, because what we're doing is we have this Occupy agent running on behalf of a Hyperledger Indy integration, to where users can just click a button, or we can parse some database and provision them wallets, and then they can export those to like an edge wallet if they'd like, or they can live in that custodial kind of layer temporarily. But the programmatic approach here could be helpful for some people who either aren't very technical or they don't have the resources yet to interface with these toolings.
Interesting. Okay. Tegani, I see that you've got your hand raised. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Do you want to comment on what Frank said? And
I think on the whole conversation, since I raised the question, I think we are, from what I heard, still all the comments are about really a much more higher users, or highly really how can I say, not to the average people. For example, in Africa, we are talking about people who cannot use at all, who don't have, for example, mobile telephones, who do not have, probably, who don't write, can write or read. Analphabet.
Well, I that's the UX, and that UX design process. And forgive me for interrupting, Tegani, but I feel like that might be the real gem in this conversation for you and your project, is basically going boots on the ground and getting the correct design, visual, and like if it's not, for instance, doing paper, paper wallets.
Yeah, but still, we are talking about self-custody. That's when. But
tell me more. What does that mean? Self-custody. Let's spend just a minute here.
Self-custody is that when you own your own wallet, for example, your own for identity, or for the organization, for example, to participate. But not everyone needs that. Probably 9 out of 10 people in Africa, they don't need that. They can have it through their family, through their friends, without really any of the problems that are mentioned, for example, the cheating or other things, particularly for this kind of organization, these organizations that are helping these communities. That's what I'm trying.
I get you. Well, I think that we haven't solved it, but we've added to it, and I understand the question a lot better now. I see that Zuha has got her hand raised, and we haven't heard from her, so I want to bring her up. Zuha, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something about the UX thing. It's like explaining any theory, let's say, any complex theory to a kid, having that ability. And it is the same transferred into your design or your platform that you're trying to educate people on. And the process is really, it can be simplified, but I don't think Web 3.0 is yet ready to be in this phase. I think that applications on Web 2.0 are there, but Web 3.0 is still kind of complex. The people in it are still trying to understand its potential, let me say. So definitely educating and motive. If people don't have a motive behind using the whole, blockchain or a wallet, they should know the motive. They should be familiar with that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Excellent, and thank you so much. I'm gonna bring it over to Harsha, but in a second. But John, I think this goes to your point of motivation. John, if you've got a real quick point, then I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, John.
Well, I mean, that is pretty much it. I just don't see how, like, to get the average person who's never heard of blockchain before, like, what are you pitching them? Like, is it a fun thing, or is it like something I don't want to even be doing regularly?
Right. I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, why even, it's like, oh gosh. Like, but when people get motivated, when it's really, really key to exactly what they are doing, then they can go over a bunch of hurdles. So there is that activation energy that needs to happen.
Right. I guess motivation too, like, is it making something easier in my life, or is it adding something extra to my?
I think I see some head nods. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, John. What about you, Harsha?
I just had a question for Takagni. Do you think trust networks would work where one person who knows how to read and write and get used to it there's a trust network that is formed around this one person, and this one person helps the rest of the community or the small group that is formed to onboard them. So it is slightly centralized, it is human dependent, but I'm seeing that as one of the solutions, but it is based on trust. Do you think that would work?
That's what I mean, for example, many of the centralized, for example, these exchanges,
correct.
They have this custody of wallets, for example, or wallet. So we have it already, but we have it in the West in a way that the West uses. But when we come to Africa, why not? Yes, we can do that. I mean, the blockchain is a good arbiter. For example, if a person who holds a wallet of somebody else, if they cheat, they can be easily caught.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is why trust is so important. Yeah.
So I mean, community custody of wallets is not really, especially when you have such a low activity, such a low economic activity. So in a DAOs are not really by nature. If we are talking about like huge DAOs, for example, investment DAOs, that's something else. But community DAOs are really about helping community or helping each other, the community helping each other.
Mm-hmm.
The trust already is there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Creating wallets that can be like it's not really multi-signature, but that can be used, for example, for onboard other people, that can transform these communities.
Correct.
Without a need to worry about all the other things that we are talking about. What we have been discussing here is about problems mostly in the West, not really in Africa. That's many times I have a problem for really getting through this point. They are not the same problem. We are discussing about the blockchain will help in Africa by connecting the entire population with the rest of the world, so that they can bring, for example, economic opportunities like DeFi and other things. But the wallet issue, the onboarding issue is a huge problem. We cannot do that without a social recovery and social onboarding system.
I love it.
Point.
Yep, and I think that let's wrap up that part of the conversation. Thank you so much, Tigani. That was great. I would love to hear from who would like to present next. I would love to hear from Frank, and then also Dan. Actually, Dan and Harsha. Frank, let's put you on deck if you don't mind, and then and Dan and Harsha. Oh, and Aaron, go ahead.
Sorry for barging in. I just need to leave in a few minutes, and I will keep it very short. I have a very specific issue to raise for this group. It is about the submission of this challenge, of the DAO challenge for Fund 10, because during Fund 8, just because of not standing in the schedule, we missed submitting this challenge, and I don't want it to happen again. And it is important also to create it, to share it with you, because this challenge has been active in Fund 7 and now in Fund 9. But it is the same challenge, the same brief, the same KPIs. Just copy paste it from Fund 7 and Fund 9, and it worked. Okay, we got a lot of support from the community, and it got funded. But maybe we need to focus a little bit more the campaign brief or the API or something else that needed to be discussed with the challenge community. So I will just drop in the chat the link for the challenge a campaign brief and the details. And if you like, please go through it, check it out if it's still relevant. All the texts there are relevant. If there is something that you wish to add or to change, maybe we can upload it into some Google Doc. and start some discussion. We have a little bit more than a week to finalize and decide. And if not, it is totally fine just to keep submitting the same challenge proposal also for next time. So we will continue this discussion in Telegram. I won't take any more time of this meeting for this specific discussion, and I will leave it for you for proposal to show you what you are working on.
All right, thank you so much, Aaron. And I think we all agree that getting the new challenge into the setting this time, Fund 9 challenge setting for Fund 10 would be beneficial. Hey, Aaron, while we are good, let's do the handoff of the recording. I'm going to start recording, and we'll sort of I don't know if they'll
I'm
splice it
recording,
together.
so it should be
Oh,
fine.
you're recording. Oh, you're good. Oh, we're good. Okay, good. Oh, all right. Forget what I just said, everybody. Now, so Harsha, would you and Dan go over the synergy?
Yeah, I can just introduce the idea of the Synergy Fund, and then Dan can expand on it. So what we were thinking is currently in the Catalyst proposals, it's the atmosphere is just competitive. It's mostly like, you better not get voted so I can get voted and I can get funded. So what we wanted to do to make the whole Catalyst system synergistic is to have like a synergy fund. So you add a 10% extra on what you're asking, and then you make like a synergy network of like different proposals that vibe with your proposal or have a synergy with your proposal. And this 10% is distributed to those other proposals if they don't get funded. This also helps like good ideas to not get voted in, because lots of times good ideas are not voted in, and at the same time we'll be helping each other out in the process. So that was the basic plan. So we were thinking around, like, say you add a 10% extra to your whatever you're asking. So that's what I have. Dan, if you want, you can expand more on that.
Or if anybody has any questions right off the bat, because it does seem, I mean, would you, yeah, Dan, could you expand on it some?
I don't think Dan is there.
Oh, he did. Oh, where did he go? Where did he go? Okay, I really dig it. I wonder, I mean, what would be the barrier to entry? I mean, I guess you could still do it right now.
So
right?
there are a couple of barriers I can think of the top of my head.
Sure.
One is, how would we track the work of the people that we are helping out, like the synergistic groups or synergistic proposals? How would we track it? Who would track it? So right now we have to write our, by the end of the day, you have to submit the proposal report and stuff like that. And the community is tracking it. So how would the processes happen in this kind of situation? So the floor is open, like people can come with the ideas, they can let us know why it would work or wouldn't work, or what are the barriers. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just the auditing of like where that is. It could be transparent. That's pretty clear. There's this network, and then your 10% of the 100,000 is 10,000, and it's split to the thing. So yeah, and then the reporting. Any other
I had one. Would you just do this all in Ideascale, or because that's a huge barrier to entry?
So we would have to be open about it, right? So we would mention it in it. So right now there are no absolute, oh, this is what we are going to do. This is an idea that we're proposing. We'll see what happens. So we can just like say, hey, these are the proposals we are synergizing with. They're in our synergy network. If we get funded and they don't get funded, 10% of our funding will be like distributed amongst these proposals to keep them afloat, is what I was thinking. But
yeah. And then it would be just in the Ideascale. And Zuha, we're coming to you next. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love that idea. I'm just saying, because most people seem to view Ideascale as like, this is my writing time, my personal time, and then like Discord and town halls and all that are kind of the place where the synergies happen. So You're saying the Synergies more on Ideascale?
No. The synergies happened outside of Ideascale. You just mentioned that,
You just link them up there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay,
Because Ideascale is not a platform for communication. It's just,
Right,
it's a terrible
right.
platform, by the way, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Me too. Yeah, the UI.
Yeah.
But
it's
I
harsh.
could see it. I could see it as I'm leaning in. Like this is where the microphone is. I'm sorry. I get so shouty. I get so excited. I get so shouty.
You're good. You're good.
I like the idea of on the bottom. I'm visualizing it. On the bottom of the proposal, it just says, "This is my," kind of like the SDGs. You know, it's just like, this is my synergistic network, and I'm in the 10%. You know, yeah. Okay. So Harsha's nodding. Okay. Zuha, do you have something? I'd like to hear from you now.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, is it like an SEO kind of thing, like working on the Catalyst SEO itself and utilizing keywords that match an algorithm that might, recommend projects, like check out similar projects? Did I understand that correctly?
No, actually, for now, we are speaking more about actually collaborating with other proposers, like speak to them, see how your ideas are synergizing, like actually create human connections, not just like keyword search and connect. It's more like, let's see how we can help each other out. But does your proposal make sense to the overall idea of what we are doing, that kind of thing?
What I'm sort of seeing, and Ellen, I see your hand up. I'm going to come to you next. What I'm seeing, to Zuha's question, what I'm seeing is that it's just like, these are the people that have a similar proposal, and that it fosters the collaboration. It's just like, yeah, well, why? It gives a reason, because I know now if they get funded, then I will get funded a bit to keep the lights on in my project. But then would it be automated? I can see where, maybe possibly in the future.
The problem with automation is that there's no human connection there. It's just words and, because if you want to function as a group, right, we have to have that human connection. And I think if it's automated, that connection would be missing, but that's just my opinion. It could be automated.
Sure. I could, mostly it's just like, no, we work together. Our groups are friendly, and we've got a synergistic thing. Meaning, if I get funded, then it's going to help them, and then this part actually gives them autonomous or independent money. That's fantastic. Okay. Ellen, you ready? Ellen has her hand up. You're muted. She's coming. Ellen's coming and muted. She might be. Okay. She might even be there. Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for bringing up the synergy agreement idea.
I'll check it out. Oh, no, sorry. I was actually talking to Ellen. I think she's muted for some reason. Let me see if
maybe I can unmute her. No. Yeah, Dan. So
I popped into the other room and I saw that they were talking about project collaboration. So I pitched the whole notion of the synergy agreement, and they loved it. I mean, they
wow! So we killed two birds in the same bush, or whatever.
And they were recording it too. They were recording it.
They were recording, and they kind of wanted to make it more public. That was the main thing. They thought it was a good idea. We raised some questions about the perception on it. I got some really good feedback. I'll fill you guys in later about it. But I think this whole notion of a synergy agreement can really go somewhere. So
the thing that the two ideas that we came up with is like, where exactly does it live, like in Ideascale, and how is it reported, and then like automating the process and the or the SEO, the kind of like networking kind of part of it, which are all interesting things.
Yeah, I guess I agree with Harsha that in the beginning, it's just a person-to-person thing. Aaron and I talked about this back in Fund 7, and we never really did anything about it because it wasn't formalized enough. But if we were just to have a simple PDF document that's sent between proposals and saying, hey, I'm going to put you in my proposal in this way, and you put me in your proposal this way, and that you just kind of build it one-to-one, person-to-person so far.
So that's what I don't, and it was Zuha that made the point. It's not necessarily the automation, but that SEO thing, which is all about backlinks. It's just like, I put you in my proposal, you put me in your proposal. You know, it's like, it's like this thing, and then it becomes like a physicality of the network. It shows the bonds and relations between.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially since we are like DAOs love Cardano. If we don't collaborate, I don't know who would.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron, you're back. Aaron's back.
Yeah, just a word before I leave. But we should consider and look at reality, because as higher the budget requested, the lowest the chances that your proposal will get funded. So it's a risk that should be that can be shared between all the synergized proposals, and we should consider it. It's not risk free for the individual proposer to take part in the synergy group, but maybe it will be worth it. It's like we mentioned insurance before. It's like kind of insurance for proposal in case that they won't get funded. Still, they have some funding, but it includes some risk of lowering the chances of their getting funded in this round.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you look at it a little bit, Aaron. The same question just came up in the other chat room I was in. If you think about it as something that's adding cost to your project, then there's a problem. But if you think of it as something like there's value added by the synergy between this proposal and the other, it's like you're putting them on your team. And if you get funded, you're going to fund that team. Even though there isn't kind of a formal thing about what the thing you're valuing is the synergy and the connection, not just necessarily a person that's going to be on your team, but you're valuing the connection with this group. If you lose that connection, I mean, I've seen it happen. If you lose that connection, you know, you've lost a great deal of potential future stuff that's going on. So it's really something that you as a proposer agree that, hey, this project is really a good one to stay connected with. And I put value on that. My value is in this, you know, 10% or 5% or whatever the budget item line item is, and you're still making a commitment, and you're not raising the price of the cost of your proposal by doing that. You're actually adding value, and you're making a choice to add that value to your proposal. So it's a way of thinking about it more than just adding cost or risk to your project.
And
that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and this is why the human connection here is crucial. As Harsha said before, it should be automated for the easy of the use, but the human connection here is not it's crucial for this kind of initiative.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So are you saying that each proposal will add on some additional amount to cover another proposal that doesn't get funded? So in that way, everybody will get funded. So if my proposal is 20,000, I will add on another 10,000, or we collaboratively discuss how much we are going to add on, and I will add on 10,000 to cover whoever doesn't make it because of these particular algorithms that allocate funding to certain ones, but not to the ones at the bottom of the list. Is that what you mean?
Well, I guess there's two ways I think we could do such a thing. You could do it as a group and say that everybody's going to add a percentage to their proposal to connect the whole group. But I kind of agree with what Harsha was saying, is that you don't always know that everybody in your group is synergistic with you. You know, it could be that people that are in the group, maybe they submit into the DAO category, but doesn't offer any value. Then the synergy is the thing you have to look for. And that's a person-to-person thing. You know, if I see something in your proposal, we have a conversation that says, hey, I like what you're doing. I want to stay connected with you. I want to put a 2% or 5%, whatever the proposal add-on is, and make that explicit in my proposal that the funding, some of the funding is going to go to this, but you don't lose it. If you get funded, you've chosen to spend it, right? That was the choice.
So just to summarize that, so it's not for the entire fund, it's for a group that you synergize with, that you see eye to eye, and that if I'm funded, then it makes sense to also fund them. Is that what you meant by, Dimitri? Is like, instead of like the entire fund, everyone that proposes in the challenge, or just a small group? My question would be, how do you form those synergistic groups? I guess it would motivate you or incentivize you to form those synergistic groups.
Yes, for sure. And
Yeah.
I think it's about seeing value in somebody else. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that this
Yeah.
guy's doing something cool. Anyway, I noticed that Ellen has been wanting to present and she hasn't been able to do that yet here.
Oh man, and the time. Oh my goodness. Ellen.
She left.
I
Oh,
think her
no.
mic wasn't working, so she had to.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
That's kind of a bummer. I liked her. Okay. But we're still recording. I know that we're at the, do we know how long we've been going? Did we start about, I think we started about 37 minutes ago. So we still have a little
Dan,
bit
are
of
you doing
time.
your platform? Just to find out from Dan, is he doing his DAO platform?
Dimitri, what the DAO? Oh, Dan, to talk about from Dan? Yes.
Yeah.
Are you, I don't know, understand exactly what the question was.
Dan, your DAO platform, the one you've been
Yes.
talking about for multiple challenges, are you doing it this time?
Yes. Yes, I put in actually several proposals in this this Fund 9. I'm going to condense those now because we've had some other different agreements with different groups. So I'm going to try to condense them into a fewer number of proposals.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, Dan, I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. Yeah, just send me a friend request if you want.
Okay, so we've done the synergistic proposals. We talked about, Aaron talked. John, you want to talk about your proposal real quick?
Yeah, so my proposal is just pretty much has to do with, like, have you guys seen DALL-E 2 and all the like AI art generators and stuff that are coming out? I really think that in a DAO capacity could just revolutionize stuff here, because that could be a great way to onboard people to a DAO structure. And I think that there would be no tokenomics needed, which I think is just, it's so risky with the tokens. And I think it turns people off to DAOs as a concept. So I was thinking a DALL-E 2 like clone or something already open source on GitHub within a DAO structure where you make, everybody there makes the AI generated art as NFTs. And then if those NFTs are bought with ADA on a local marketplace to the AI art generator, then the people who earn the most ADA through their NFTs have say in upgrades to the art generator.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. So like the DAO structure of an NFT AI generated art community that goes into a marketplace, and then there's a bit of governance to it as well.
Right, and the governance, I mean, I think there's been governance done with NFTs before, but the governance would be specifically on the visual aspect of the NFT. And that would be like,
I see.
we want some more capability here. And so everybody kind of has that common goal. And I just think it's visual. It's like the UI thing again. Like, I think it could be a great way to onboard people, and it could be like
You're
thing. Seeing like,
did we lose?
Guy,
I think we lost John.
briefly comments. Oh, I'm here.
You might be glitching out. Maybe glitching out.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so we've got
Yeah.
you in. I definitely want to.
I'd love to hear some thoughts.
Yeah. Does anyone have just quickly some thoughts? And then we can also always follow up with you. You're very good about being on the Ideascale. So, and is this one is this one?
This is the one that was all pictures before, and now I'm putting words.
Yes.
And are you
Yeah.
sure you're putting in a budget more than $1?
Yeah.
Wait, what was that?
I remember you putting like a $1 budget.
Oh, that
this
was
time
like
the minimum is $10. So think about that.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you. That was kind of to test the CAs and stuff.
I'm yet to put my
Nice.
DAO. I'm yet to put my DAO proposal because I'm thinking it through how to set one up for Sri Lanka. So I'll be checking out all the possibilities and doing something to set up a pilot project here. But just in case it's of interest, a DAO has set up a voting mechanism with governance and stuff, which is called Roundtable. So that is something that's already built.
Actually,
And
Roundtable is
DAO
a multi-sig wallet.
Okay, then there's something else that they've built up for governance. They were talking about it. I can't
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
I got the name wrong.
Yeah, they do. They've got they were just here last week or the week before. But yeah, go ahead.
So since they've already built those tools and they're open source, it's possible to get them and deploy them as a common thing in DAOs so that each DAO doesn't have to rebuild its own thing. So that might be something worth considering.
Actually, since you're on the topic, Clarity DAO is also doing something similar. I don't know if they're here. Oh, there is Logan is here. Hey, Logan, do you want to quickly jump in?
You know, I want to. Before we get onto that, I definitely want to recognize Zoha, who's been here patiently waiting. If you don't mind, and Zoha can do a very quick one, if you don't mind.
No, yeah, let Logan speak and then I will present next. I can stay just like for 10 minutes.
Okay,
maybe.
you're perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll be quick. Yeah, so essentially we have a proposal in the DAO section that's called Clarity DAO Infrastructure. So essentially what we're building is a high assurance library of smart contracts, and then leveraging Agora and the CTL from MLabs to create an off-chain repository so that you can interact with Agora from a simple front-end interface. So you can create a DAO, set the governance rules, create proposals, and have on-chain governance that interacts with the treasury. So really why I'm so excited about this is because I hear all these ideas. I have all these ideas for decentralized organizations, and it's really just a big lift to find the developers and pay for the audits. And so we're trying to create kind of the bottom Legos of DAO infrastructure, so that anyone is able to create decentralized organizations and run with their ideas that they have that they want to operate on the Cardano blockchain. So yeah, that's a little bit about it. We have an awesome team building it out, and super excited and happy to answer any questions if anyone has it, but that's a quick high level.
Hey, Logan, I have a quick question. How are you auditing your smart contracts?
Yeah, so, we're going to have external auditors look at them. I think that might have to be maybe once we build out this smart contract library, we might have to create a proposal to get it audited, to get the funds, but because audits aren't cheap, but
yeah,
we really want this to be rigorously audited. And another thing I wanted to mention in this town hall is we're really interested in creating a DAO alliance of projects that are building DAO infrastructure on Cardano, because I really think it's important that as we all start to pioneer this space and build these tools, that we're in touch of what standards need to be set so that when users are using DAOs or participating or creating DAOs on Cardano, there's many different tools they're able to choose from. So that's just something I wanted to put out there, because I think a DAO alliance would be a very worthwhile endeavor so that we can all get in touch about, what are we building? How can these things be interoperable and things like that?
I had a quick question. What are the types of smart contracts that you think would be most useful to a DAO?
Yeah, so our perspective on this in terms of kind of the bottom Legos that are needed for DAO infrastructure are kind of governor initialization, so creating the treasury, and then also voting smart contracts. So out of the box, we'll probably have multiple choice and yes and no. And then also just scripts that once a proposal passes, it automatically interacts with the treasury and spends the funds according to the proposal that was submitted. So really it's all about getting a community together, having a treasury that everyone has influence over, and then having these votes that cause downstream effects of the treasury. So those are kind of the bottom Legos, but I really do think that, you know, we're very focused on the on-chain actions needed in rudimentary DAO processes, but there's so many other tools that are needed. Like, just because we build this doesn't mean that DAOs won't exist in Discord. Like, there needs to be a place to communicate. Notion will be used as well. I think there's a ton of tools. And I think we can do a lot in terms of this room, of looking at the tools that are built on Ethereum and seeing what works and what doesn't work. I know they have like Snapshot, Aragon, DAO Stack. There's all these different tools that they have built out that are great. And there's even something called DAOmasters.xyz. And essentially it's a website where you go on it and it shows all the different DAO tools, like whether you need investment, whether you need to figure out governance, whether you need to do this and that. They have tools that exist in the Ethereum ecosystem. So I think it would be worthwhile to kind of start building that out too. But, you know, I'm just kind of rambling on now.
No, Logan, thank you so much. That is exactly what we want to hear. That is that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Unless there's any questions, I would love to get from Zuha. And thank you guys for staying. Actually, Harsha, what's our time frame right now? How do you know from the recording, like how far along we're going?
I don't see a timer anywhere, so I'm not really sure.
No worries, no worries. I think we're, you know, at the bottom of the hour might be a good target to sort of wrap up, because I don't want it to go too long, and it seems like we've been going for a minute. Okay. With that brilliant segue, Zuha, please come up, you know, take your time and please explain your project to us.
All right, thank you so much. Basically, our project is entitled cmgo, and our motto is cause, support, ecosystem. So the problem is that NGOs are losing funds due to lack of transparency, with facts of misuse and theft. And there are no certified platforms that track transactions from donor to NGO and from NGO to suppliers for basic needs or whatever cause this NGO is calling for. So the solution is that we aim to create a trustworthy, interoperable, scalable, and decentralized ecosystem where donors can donate with transparency. And NGOs' actions are auditable and vendors are very well curated. Okay, so the platform contains a curated list of NGOs supporting different causes in different countries. And donors can choose the amount that they would like to donate for the NGO. And the NGOs will have access to a list of enlisted vendors providing goods and services maybe, and they receive the funds in ADA, or maybe we're gonna try and find maybe a fiat solution, because we wanna make the platform more accessible for people on ground, like, you know, touch in actual communities that don't have enough knowledge about blockchain in general. So just like similar to a marketplace, the NGOs can place their order and include maybe their delivery location for getting the supplies that they need. And of course, the donors, they can track any transaction being made by the NGO. And vendors will deliver NGOs by confirming that they received the goods, and they provide feedback of the vendor performance. I think that for now, this is it. I don't know if anyone has a question. I'm kind of nervous and running out of time. So sorry.
No, that was brilliant. I think that your project is becoming much more clear. Does anyone have any thoughts or comments or questions about this this NGO donor, vendor, stakeholder transparency DAO?
I think I commented on your guys' proposal, but I just think examples of which NGOs maybe, since it's a curated list, like that might help.
Yeah, basically NGOs that mainly target SDGs, because we highly believe that the proposal targets every SDG indirectly, every sustainable goal set by the United Nations to improve communities and societies. So I think that any NGO that supports one or several SDG is eligible to join.
Do you guys currently have some in contact?
Of course.
Okay. Or do you just don't want to share that information?
I think he's looking for exactly
I mean,
which ones do you
yeah.
have in partnership, I guess. Do you have any in the works, like as your first, as you build it out, as your use cases, initial use cases?
We do have, the thing is we're relying a little bit on local resources, if I may say. In Lebanon, I'm Lebanese. So relying on any NGO that has data or has a potential to join and are interested in that. Already UNICEF and UNESCO has showed interest in being donors. So they can onboard their own network of NGOs to monitor how their donations are being transferred and executed on ground. I don't know, I hope that answered.
You previously worked with UNICEF, right? Or UNESCO?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay. Perfect.
That's right. That's right. John reads those proposals.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, really. Your comment is very thorough. And just wanted to say that we are very aware of the internal organization of local NGOs that promote community building and psychosocial support and any other cause, along with international NGOs. So we're aware of the organizational structure and the internal operations that go in there. So this is why we're confident about the idea that it's going to work, you know?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
And thank you for presenting, and thank you for being brief. By being brief, you're allowing others to sort of share. So thank you. That's a very collaborative thing.
Of course. Thank you.
Frank, I see Frank might be in there. Are you still around? And Ephraim, he's got his hand raised. Go for it.
I don't actually have a proposal. I was just wondering, Zuha, could you put a link to your proposal on Ideascale here in the chat just so that I can find it easily, please? Because I think it's a very, very interesting project.
Thank you so much. I will do that. Just be aware, I think we're moving from dApps to DAO Love Cardano, because at first we have applied as, thinking it's as maybe similar to marketplace or e-commerce website, but of course it's not. It's a DAO. It's bridging the gap between several stakeholders. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very interesting. I really want to see a link to your proposal as well.
I got it for you, Zuha.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yep, we got you. Harsha, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, I was just curious about how you're structuring this as a DAO. I'm just trying to wrap my head around how that works.
Asking me? You're asking me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry,
ahead.
I cut off for a second. So, okay. So basically, when it's a decentralized platform, it doesn't differentiate between any cause, between any country, between any person indeed, or any, let me say, stakeholder or any entity. So by having a donor, let's say in the US, wanting to donate for a country in, let's say, Asia, they can do that automatically, and the transaction being transparent to him and to the NGO and therefore the vendors. So when you onboard the stakeholder, the donor himself, you create for him a unique account, a unique interface, and then you create another interface for the NGO itself, receiving the funds, being able to divide its funds to wherever they want to spend it, and then connecting the vendors. Every vendor in every sector, they can be connected. It can be a gas station to cover gas expenses. It can be any supplier for, let's say, school supplies for children to learn how to read and write. So it's maybe governance. It targets governance like traditionally and typically, and religiously as well. And also, I personally believe that it does target a DAO kind of system. I don't know if I answered that, if it made sense to you. I hope it did.
It did. It seems like a central hub where different donors come in and donate to like different organizations. But I still see it as like a central entity that is like taking care of everything. So in a DAO, generally there is no central entity that takes care of everything. It's the group that like makes the decisions together. So that's why I asked that question.
Yeah, I see. No, the thing is that between the donor and the NGO, the donor can choose to whom they can donate, and the NGO can choose their funders as well by applying for projects. You know, like most NGOs do their work, their on-ground work by simply applying on a project basis. So they say, like, let's say we need 20K to execute X project, and they get the money for that. And then they would utilize the vendors and their partners to execute the project. So we are just the platform, and they're just doing the whole operation. I don't know if that answered your question correctly now.
No, it works. That works.
That and it also just sort of highlights to clarify, and the DAO, and it seems like DAO uses, this community of DAOs uses a certain vocabulary and terminology, and to make that sort of clear, and then to sort of really look in and to see how far along towards, because it's an emergent structure of these stakeholders interacting and relating. And I think that's the real fascinating thing about this project, the cmgo, is that it clarifies and focuses in on the relationships in a transparent way between all of these stakeholders, vendors, suppliers, donors, receivers, and that hopefully the DAO structure can make it work better than what it is now. Because the problem is, like Harsha says, is that there's a centralized point, and when it's not transparent, or when it doesn't have governance over the vendors, suppliers. Anyway, yeah, beautiful proposal, and excellent question, Harsha. All right, I think we have 7 minutes. Let's have 7 magical minutes on this recording, and see if there's any other questions or presentations. I want to thank all the other presenters, while a presenter that's listening to my voice is getting ready to put their hand up and say, please let me present. I've been waiting.
I would do a short presentation. I'm not going to do the pitch deck like last time, but just in a couple of 2 minutes. So we are PeerPost, and we want to create a decentralized parcel postal delivery DAO, mostly focusing on the global south, in particular Africa. Why is that the case? The problem is that sending a parcel within an African country or outside an African country to a Western country is very expensive. It is also usually very unreliable and not very fast. And so we are thinking that we need a peer-to-peer solution, because in order to create an efficient centralized system as we have in the Western world, it would require a lot of money, which African nations cannot bring up, right? So a peer-to-peer solution would look like this, that we connect, basically as we have in Uber, we connect people who are senders, who live in city A and want to send something, some postal item to city B. We want to connect them with people who go there anyways, right? These can be people who go there to work, to travel, to visit their family or anything. And they basically match on a platform where they negotiate the price and everything. And then there's the blockchain component. And the blockchain component is the smart contract, which kind of secures the parcel delivery, right? The issue is you would never give a stranger your parcel and give him even the money beforehand he delivers the parcel, right? It makes no sense. He would run away. So in order to get the economics incentives right, that the transporter who picks up the parcel and brings it into city B to deliver it is not running away, he must deposit something in a smart contract where the salary is payment is also being deposited, right? So this money is being locked in a smart contract as long as the delivery is going on, and once he hands it over to the recipient, then the money gets unlocked through a smart contract, which is basically automatic, digital, and transparent, right? And this is our solution we propose, and thank you for your attention and questions.
Yes, Jeremiah, thank you so much for being brief, and it's great to see you again here. You were also on at least last week's video with a little more in depth. Thank you for being brief. Does anyone have any more questions for the peer post? It does seem like, is peer-to-peer a DAO? And how, I mean, I think that it emerges from peer-to-peer in this relationships, just like with the cmgo, and that basically you all have use cases for the tools that, for instance, Logan wants to build, these Lego bricks to bring those things in. Or am I getting that correctly? Or are you planning to build, and this is really to the cmgo and to peer post, do you feel like you're going to build the smart contracts yourself, or would you pull them from a directory? Does that make sense, Harsha? You get me ready?
Wait, what's up?
Well, does that make sense? Like this idea of like where, okay, John gets me. Okay.
Yeah. Because, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so we would use the tools which are being built by those DAO creators, right? Of course, because the DAO, this is just a governance process, right? Decision making within basically a company, right? And what we build ourselves is, of course, the escrow smart contract with the functionality of being on integrated with a wallet, right? And doing the things it needs to do, that the product, the service is working, right? But the decision making DAO, we would take all advantage of the open source stuff.
So I have a quick question. So specifically, right now, smart contracts are basically exchange of cryptocurrencies and NFTs and digital stuff, right? How would you use smart contracts for services as such?
For peer post, so the smart contract for us has the function of a basic, simple escrow service, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the payment for the sending is being locked in the smart contract. At the same time, in the same smart contract, the deposit is being locked there, right? And then, so this is the working, and then it would be released through kind of a signal, which would be a QR code, which the receiver kind of has, right? And he would give it then to the transporter, who's giving the product over, handing it over, and then he could unlock the smart contract, and the money goes into the wallet of the transporter. That would be
that makes sense.
It's becoming clear in my mind. Beautiful. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, I like this idea a lot, but would it fit better as a DApp? Like in the DApp and integrations?
No, so we split up the proposal, right? So the most funding is going to be in the DApp, because at the moment, we're going to do this entrepreneurial approach, right? We do right now MVP building. We're going to ask maybe for 15K something. We want to build the MVP and test it, right? I don't want to like ask for 100K, because honestly, nobody knows if it's going to work, right? Who knows? Nobody knows, right? So we want to build an MVP, we want to test it, get the data, and then of course then develop the product further. We're going to do a little bit of money into the DAO category, asking for integrating those tools in order to make then onboarding people to do the decision making, right? But the most money we ask for the MVP building, like the app and this kind of stuff, the technical.
Perfect.
And could you go on a little bit? Oh, there's some questions. Okay, Tigani, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to, you're mentioning about, for example, the problem in Africa is mostly the non-existence of capacity, for example, for transportation. So how do you, because for example, for a truck driver, he doesn't have any incentive to use that one, or for example, to put his money in escrow, while he has a lot of capacity that he can't really handle. How do you account for that?
So the idea is that the truck driver, right? So the truck driver is on a platform and he matches with somebody who also lives in the same city, and so he can pick up something. So he puts a little bit of money up as a deposit, and then he makes a side hustle basically, right? So when he anyways goes for his work with his truck there, he can maybe take 1 hour longer and take 2 free parcels with him, drop them off, and make I don't know, $4 or $5. That's a lot of money he could make on the side. That is the idea. Yeah. So the capacity it's individual, right? If I go by bus somewhere, I could maybe just take a small document or maybe a 1 kilo parcel. If I go by my own car, I can take more, right? It's it's this kind of thing. Yeah. Very individually decided.
Yeah. It's a good question. Good question. Tigani, is that got you covered?
Yeah, partly. I think the P2P part probably, for example, it doesn't have to be a truck driver, for example.
No, it can be
person
anybody.
who travels. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I mean, travelers, that might be like a traveler side hustle.
You're right. Yeah.
Efren, I see your hand is up.
Yes. Okay. So 2 questions real quick. The first question, would this be all dealt with in ADA, or are you guys coming up with a project specific token or something like that?
Yeah, good question. So of course we would hope at one point, I mean, ADA would be the best option right now because it's maybe the most stable thing for the exchange of currencies for the service usage, right? But of course a stable coin would be better because the people who want to use this product, they want to have a stable income for doing this job and also stable payment of doing this, right? So their stable coin we would use, and we would then have a governance token, of course, right? We would have a governance token with a lot of perks besides just the voting. Yeah.
Okay, so then that means that y'all's DApp wouldn't really deploy until after JED comes into the market fully, right? Is that correct in assumption?
No.
Since
So
you're
the
talking about
MVP
stablecoins?
testing would go with ADA. I mean, honestly, so I would imagine a platform that you can freely decide in what you want to use at one point, right? Maybe your ADA can automatically then convert it into a stable coin if you have only ADA, or you use a stable coin, or maybe both sides okay using ADA, right? So if that is technically possible, but right now we would go with ADA just to try it out and the MVP building, and then it would be easy to integrate just a stable coin in that. It's just another token, technically speaking.
Okay. So then y'all are looking at chain agnosticism. Like you want to expand to different chains, or do you want to have wrapped assets to deal with type thing?
I mean, let's hope that Cardano very flourishes in Africa, right? I mean, honestly, what kind of blockchains are very well known, right? I mean, that's the thing. Of course, the service itself, it would be blockchain agnostic, right? But I mean, you need a lot of capacity to build this stuff on different blockchains, right? So we don't have this at this point. And I think Cardano is tackling the African market. I think there is the most community there, so we go with Cardano for that sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. Okay, so that was, sorry, it was a few questions that arose from that first question. My second question was, I'm looking at your proposal on Ideascale, and I remember you said that the majority of the funds that you were requesting were on the DApp side rather than the DAO side.
Yes.
But I see here on the page for the DAO proposal, the requested funds in USD is 0. Is it supposed to be 0? I thought the minimum was $10.
I have not put no. So there is no DAO proposal yet. I mean, so within the DAO category, the proposal is not there yet. There's just a proposal which is not yet finished. We are working out the numbers right now by tomorrow about within the challenge of the dApps, and yeah.
Okay, I got you. So this is unfinished right now. That's why.
There should be TBA right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Efren, I love your questions. I appreciate your expertise. I think that, whenever I hear your voice, you've got a great microphone. No need to, I mean, everybody has a great voice. Everybody has a great microphone, but I want to highlight you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's do a little summary. Let's celebrate. This was a really good meeting, in my opinion. Does anyone have any final thoughts as we sort of close and just sort of take a breath and sort of look back at what we've done? We've heard from peer posts. We've heard from the DAO, our challenge setting. Tigani was here, Harsha and Dan, the Synergy Fund, John with a beautifully creative thing, the AI art generator DAO, like it's just what he brings. Logan with this, I just think this is really beautiful. And Zoha, and we've covered some ground today. I want to give everybody some congratulations. But let's
Newman for hosting. Thank you.
Hosting. All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Thank you.
I'd be curious a little more about the synergy thing. So like in action, how does that look now? Like
we don't know. That's why that's what
maybe the Telegram.
So maybe next town hall we'll have a discussion. We'll have an in-depth discussion of the Synergy Fund and create a room for it, because right now it's an idea. We'll have to make it into something real. So we'll go from the discussions.
I really agree about the point that if DAOs love Cardano doesn't do it, then nobody else is gonna.
Yeah, we are the one challenge with love in the name.
Right.
So that's the thing. So I think that our after town halls are working out great. We will plan another one next week. Please come back by. Please lend your great ideas. Also, see us on Telegram. Troll and get on those. Not troll. Cruise. That's what it is. Cruise by the challenge team or the challenge and make comments on proposals. Keep up this good vibe. Keep up the idea of collaboration, and we'll all do great. We're all going to do great.